Hello there, my friends. Welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place that we talk all things personal development, self-improvement, self-empowerment, self-love, self-care. Yeah, it's a lot about yourself because we're at the root of everything we do. So hello there. My name is Natasha and I am so lucky and honored to be your host today. I'm going to be honest here. Sometimes I'm so grateful for this stockpile I have, but I'm like, I keep this up. I'm going to run out of my, stockpile. But I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. Like I said, I'm in this process right now of really rediscovering not only who Chris and I are, which is a big part of it, but really what it comes down to at the root of it is I can't change or control Chris just as much as I can't change or control anybody else except for me. And the same goes for you. We have all these expectations, these wishes, these desires, these fantasies, these unmet, secrets we keep within us. And those things for me held me back because it was like I had expected my kids, Chris, my dad, my mom, my parents, my family, my friends, everybody to show up in a certain way. And I never often communicated what that was. And if they didn't mind read and just know what it was that I would want, or, if they wouldn't just show up for this phantasmic way that I've seen on TV shows and on rom-coms, it meant I wasn't loved. Like I put so much value in the way other people treated me and the way that they were able to show up and what they did and didn't do. And I really outsourced so much of my life to other people and they weren't really aware. And, it gets me thinking, like, are people outsourcing their lives to me, or was this like, something that I was really doing a lot? And I think universally we do a lot of outsourcing, right? I've talked about it here on so many times. I did things just waiting, looking over to have somebody say they're proud of me. And all the times I played sports or was in any kinds of dance or activities, my dad showed up to none. And my mom showed up to none. And, I think maybe they were at like a Christmas play or something. So I'm not going to say none entirely, but like, in my teen years, in my early preteen years, nobody was really there unless it was like this other thing. I mean, there were so many, mom and child events at school, or father and child events at school, or grandparents and child events at school, that either I was afraid to even tell them because I didn't want to deal with the disappointment of them not knowing. So sometimes I would keep it quiet and think that they would just know and suddenly show up. And I felt like the disappointment would be less if they didn't show up and they didn't know, versus me putting myself out there and saying, this is how, a time and a place I'd really like you to show up for. And then them, dealing with the aftermath of either them being there, which would be great, or the worst case scenario that they weren't. And I think I always erred on the caution that somebody wouldn't show up for me. So I just started to naturally put all of my expectations down, and they dwindled down. And so I think about this a lot because in a couple days it's Valentine's Day. Yesterday we had a great day, and I don't want to miss talking about that because it was a celebration of my youngest son's last year of being a child. Like, he is literally going to be an adult in 365 days from now, or is it 364 now? I don't know. I've got to do the math. But he is my youngest baby, is almost no longer a baby. And now again, my kids are always my kids. They're always kids, right? Especially my kids, they act like my kids. They don't even want to drive. They don't want to get jobs. They don't want to leave. They don't want to do chores. Like, they're my kids. And I love that about them, but it also drives me crazy about them, right? But so I definitely want to get into that because it was the first time, like, all four kids, Chris and I, like, it was like better than ever. And I'm not saying we were perfect, but there were so many laughters, there was so much giggle, there was just so much time that we were together. And I just was like, and maybe not by like the clock time, but just like the time, like it just seemed to almost stand still. Like I just wanted to absorb it and eat it up because I just was so grateful and I was so appreciative because I know that had I not stuck myself out there and said, this is what I need, like, can we meet, Chris? Like, I'm feeling really confused and conflicted. Like, had I allowed my ego, had I allowed what I had thought he would say, had I allowed what others thought I should do to take precedent over what I wanted, yesterday wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have. I know that for certain because I would have gotten an attorney and I would have, fought him and he wouldn't have been happy about it. And, it would have been a whole hostile situation. It would have been way too soon. There would be a lot of things. And so, it was really beautiful. My son had said, leading up to, he's like, I was hoping by the time my birthday came that all the drama between my sister and dad and you and everybody, like I was hoping it would all be gone. So like, this is the best wish and birthday like I could ask for. And so I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful because again, life is so fragile. My son's girlfriend is here whose mom is my same age and she passed away 2 years ago suddenly. What? Like what? So it's not lost on me. Like every second I'm here, every second you're here, it truly is a gift. Now, sometimes let me tell you, when there's a rough day or you're in pain or you're going through something, you're like, this does not feel like a gift. This feels like hell. But it is such a gift. Like there are so many people that would give anything to experience what you're calling hell, right? Like, so it gives you this shifted perspective. It gives you this reframe of, yes, this is a challenge. Yes, this is disappointing. Yes, this is blah, 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 blah. However, I still have it pretty darn good, especially living in the United States, even with all the drama and turmoils, like we have it really good. So, if you're living in other places, you may have it good as well or even better. But I'm just saying in general, we have it pretty good. Appreciate what it is. There's a roof over my head. There's lights on. There's heat. There's food on the table. I'm blessed. So, I say all that to say, so, I have these expectations and, one of those things were Halloween. No, I don't have expectations for Halloween. Maybe I do. I don't know. That's another thing, but it's Valentine's Day. And so, right, there's the whole commercialism and there's like the part of me in the gut that's like, I don't like it, right? Because it's like you're a little kid and you're waiting for the candygram and your secret crush to like come up and say, I'm in love with you and will you be my girlfriend? And you look over and he's with somebody else. Or, like that just didn't happen for me. And so my very first year with Chris, on a Valentine's Day, because we met in March, we were married in July, we had a baby in December, and so our first one we had, already had bought a house, we had kids, like we'd, like had all these things, and Bradley was still in the hospital, but I remember vividly, like I finally left, and I felt like this confliction because I'm supposed to be there with him, and Chris really wanted me, to be with him, but I just kind of was like, okay, I just wanted to appease both, but at the end of the day I kind of felt everything. But then I arrived and like he had done something so sweet. He like had the lights dimmed and candles and cut the steaks into shapes of heart, and the potatoes were in heart shapes, and the bread was cut into heart. Like he put a lot of thought and effort into it. And while Valentine's Day was never anything that I really had embraced, it was, again, I was outsourcing love to somebody else. I didn't really realize at that time. So it's like, and I always felt really disappointed. So at that particular Valentine's Day, I was disappointed in the fact that I didn't have my son at home or my son in my belly like he should have been. But I was also really grateful for this different kind of love than I had ever experienced before. And so it was just very thoughtful and I appreciated it. And throughout the years, we have kids. And again, I'm like, I just don't really care. I had gotten him like a stupid gift of like, back then they had a video game and, movie rental places. And I got him like a gift card for that. And he's like, this isn't romantic. Like, this isn't a Valentine's gift. And so it really like, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a failure. I didn't do this good, so I kind of like, again, took that plus my own feelings with it and just was like, I just don't really like the holiday, like it's just so forced. There were times that we went to dinner a couple times with our whole kids, like here we are, and people were like, can we move from these people? Like, we do not want to sit by them. Like you've got 4 kids, infants, babies, like yeah, they were, no, they didn't like that. So we've done that. We've been in Disneyland. We've, done nothing. And sometimes we barely even said happy Valentine's Day to each other. And I remember, like, even of recent years, like trying to find cards and it just being like, what do you write to the person that you are a stranger with, that, like, you don't treat well, doesn't treat you well? Like, what do you even say? And so I can't recall where I was last year in my journey or what I was doing, but, again, this whole process has taught me so much about myself. And so we were talking yesterday, and my daughter's very, like, she lives in this Pinterest, generation, and her, her expectations are met that are like really high, that aren't really high, but like, for me, it would seem so high. And, it's just like, it's a holiday. It's something so special and sacred, and she really loves it, whereas my son and his other girlfriend, his girlfriend, it's not, it's like, whatever, it kind of like can have, we'll go to dinner, it's very easy, right? Like there's no low expectations. And, we're talking about that. And then, Chris chimes in. I hate it. Like, it was just like a disgust. Like, I hate Valentine's Day. And we had a discussion about this like a couple months ago, and it was just like, there's so much pressure, it's just, his belief was always like it was for the girl, and so put a lot of pressure on him, and he's not a holiday person as it is. And that used to really irritate me. Like, I would be like, he knows how much I like it, like, suck it up, be nice, like, do whatever. So yes, sorry, I got a message. But the whole thing of it is like, I really had never expressed my expectations, and I just diminished them because they were unmet. And so I started to not like them. But then suddenly now here we are, and we're in this new chapter, and I found myself like really looking forward to Valentine's Day. Not for the day in particular. Like, it could be anything. What I really found is it was twofold. I think number one, it was love. And I think my first love, I've realized, is myself. And I really want to celebrate and honor that love, because without that love and that courage and vulnerability that love has given me, I wouldn't be here where I am, experiencing this like cherry on top, this extra love I'm receiving, and more importantly for me even, is giving to somebody else. I always was filled with this like a wall around my heart because I was ready for war. Like, I had a whole armory in there. I figured somebody was going to hurt me. I figured I was unlovable. And so this gift of realizing all that love I was outsourcing, all the love I was waiting for somebody else, I had it on the inside. And so in this new relationship dynamic, it's a lot about learning how to balance and understand all the love I really want is inside. Like, anything I really want to do is in here. Now, if I want something with Chris, I need to express that. And it doesn't mean he's going to do it. It doesn't mean that suddenly he's going to love Valentine's Day. And I don't want him to. Like, I want him to be who he is. If he doesn't like it for his own reasons, if he's not looking forward to it, let's not force ourselves to celebrate it. You don't want to get a card. You don't want to get, like, whatever it is, like, I'm cool with it. What I'm learning, though, is I need to communicate that. Like, hey, I really, really, was looking forward to this Valentine's Day, just celebrating our new relationship. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day, right? Like, we can make our own day, our own rules, our own plan. And having that communication and that, like, understanding that, hey, he doesn't really like it, and be like this thing, like, let's make a plan together. It doesn't have to be Chris making the plan. Like, the point is to be together. And I don't, of course, there's that little part in all of us that wants to be swept off our feet, but I don't think that that's just, isolated to a female. Like, I think everybody wants to be seen, loved, heard, I feel like they're able to receive like this kind of love and care. And so I think that's more what it's about. So tonight I really want to think about it. And I've been going back and forth because, I'm trying to understand what it is I want to do. Valentine's Day, I have a dance class, and I really do like going to my dance class. And if we don't have plans, like if we had plans, we like made plans, I get it. I'm not going to go. But then there was also this really special yoga class after. It was like, it's called a love yoga something. And it just sounds so beautiful. It has like sound bath and the whole thing. And I was like, I really kind of want to do this. Like, he has to work all day anyways. Like, yeah, that may mean I'm not just available when he's available, but I think I really want to do this to celebrate the love I have for myself that has opened the platform and the allowance to give love the way I give love to myself now. So the way I'm sharing my love to Chris is very different. And the way I'm trying to show up and share my love for my kids and everybody else, it's very different. It's a lot more intentional and it's a lot more honest. It's where I understand first what it is my needs are, what it is I'm capable of doing, right? Like, what are my boundaries? Like, what am I able to do? Like, what upsets me or what makes me really happy? And, the same thing is I have to be able to receive that from the other side. Like, I'm not in a relationship with myself. I can be, right? Like, but I'm choosing to incorporate more people into my life, and it makes me feel richer. And so learning how to kind of balance that out is a challenge, like, for me, right? Because like I say, I go all in and then I kind of need to self-correct. So we're kind of in that little bit of a self-correction point where it's like, in the beginning, it's like, I just want to spend every second with you. And I still do, very much so. And that winter where it's cold and just want to cuddle, and we got sick and drink soup and warm drinks together, and watch shows. Like, it's giving me this permission to rest and stop and heal and communicate and show up differently and cuddle and like to cuddle and like to be cuddled with and to give attention and like to have the attention give back to me. Like, I think it's such a beautiful experience for me personally, and it was one that's taken me completely by surprise. I had no expectations, and even if I would never have put it this high. I didn't know I was capable of loving in this fashion, and I really didn't think I was capable of loving Chris in this fashion. And so I'm really proud of myself for being open to possibilities that seemed impossible. It is that reminder that like, each one of us are possible. These things that we think are not possible, will never happen, can happen. So keep going when you realize what it is you want. And that's the first step, right? And it doesn't happen overnight. It wasn't like I knew this 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 10 months ago, whatever it was, like 2 years ago. I didn't know that this is what I wanted. And that's what I get to discover right now. And being honest with myself, being honest with the relationship, that is the key. And remembering that really our first true love is ourselves. If I had to give a piece of relationship advice, which I am no relationship expert at all, as you know on here, it would be love yourself first. Like, that is the best love you can give. That is the best way you can show up as a person, as a spouse, as a partner, as a friend, as a family member, as a parent, grandparent, sibling, whatever it is loving yourself. Loving yourself enough to know that even if you're honest and maybe some doors close, some people leave, you don't get what you want, you still have the love of yourself. You are not alone. And every closed door does pose a new opportunity. So I say all this to say, like, I was so blessed yesterday. And it was my son's birthday, and my whole family, plus his girlfriend from Kansas, plus my daughter's boyfriend who had finished work late. Like, we timed it so he could join us for the meal, because they're really important to him too. Like, they've really helped and stepped up many times when I've been too busy, or I've been like, they've been there. Like, the beauty of my youngest son is he's in a way raised by all of us. Like, yeah, maybe I did the brunt of the doctor work or whatever it is, but each one of us has taken our wisdom, our experiences, and shared it with them. All the siblings, they all have really, really special and unique relationships with the baby. They like look at him, not like I do, but almost darn near. They know him so well, and it's so cute and fun to see everybody. And so yesterday, our table was filled with laughter and banter and imperfection, because each one of us individually are far from perfect. But collectively, as a whole, we are freaking Russo strong, just like the bracelet says. Like, we were there, and yeah, there are a lot of things that are hurt feelings. There are sad times, but there are so so many more times where we were able to show up. And even if it's in the way as I paid your electricity bill, like, you know what I mean? Like, we can more so show up for one another than we don't. I know it's easy to focus on the ways and the times that people didn't show up or didn't show up the way we wanted. But the truth of the matter is we are all there for one another, through the good, through the bad, and through the ugly. And so I was so just like so happy to have that moment together, because you just really never know like when it is the last. Like, I can't remember the last time we all sat down at a dinner together, and I didn't remember. I didn't treasure it. I expected it to happen again, as if it was in, and then it ended up, it was the last until yesterday. And it was sometime in 2024. And it was probably sometime in like summer, maybe. I mean, I really don't even remember the last time that some kids are out of town, some kids are in town. Like, sometimes Chris doesn't want to participate. Sometimes I'm at the gym. Like, it just didn't happen a lot in the end. And I really want to rewrite that part in this new chapter to be like, yeah, throughout now, right? Like, as we enter these new chapters and phases of our lives, maybe the quantity won't be there, but I really hope that the quality is, to where each time is like yesterday, where I can take pause and be like, I love this. Like, I'm so grateful that this is able to happen. And I understand that that meant there was a sacrifice and a choice from each person individually at that table. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that we could show up and give this little guy this one present that he wanted. You know, it makes me think about my grandma. So many times she used to say, all I want is one photo with all my kids and all my grandkids before I die. And the sad thing is, she never got it. People were fighting and arguing and too stubborn, and nobody really took the reins of being like, we're doing this family photo and we want you there. I think because we, again, had these unmet expectations where we thought somebody wouldn't show up. But wonder if maybe we all did. Wonder if maybe we were all able to put it away and aside, and we showed up. And we lost that opportunity because we never said it to the right people. We just kind of threw it out in the universe, or kind of hoped it inside, and we never told anybody. So that's what I really want to talk about today is that's our job, right? Like, number one, it's to love ourselves. But number two is like, love yourself enough to know you're enough and you can share what it is you're feeling. And it doesn't have to be in a blame way or in a way to get somebody else to feel defensive or, guilty. Like, I don't want Chris to feel bad that he doesn't like Valentine's Day. I don't really like Halloween. Yeah, I celebrate it. I do whatever, the lights, like, some things will get me like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fun. But it doesn't mean I need to. I don't like his music. And I don't want him to try to force me to like it. And I don't want to have him force him to like what I like. He doesn't like dancing. And I accept that part of him. I have to. Yeah, of course, I'm disappointed. I'm going to express that because I don't want to hold the resentment. I don't want to get mad because you're not dancing with me when you don't want to dance. And I don't want to dance with somebody who doesn't want to dance either, right? Like, so here's the thing is you gotta be accepting and open to the fact that it's your job. You have to do the work. What Chris and I are doing right now, yes, like some ways in the beginning, he's like, are you just trying to want to be with me because it's easier? I'm like, listen, this is not easy. If I go with somebody else, it's a fresh start. Like, I get to be the new me version and show up this way. And I don't have all this baggage and all these triggers and all these events that have happened that like bring up things that I really have to work through, that I have to become this new version I want to be. And it's sometimes you slip back into the old version and sometimes you don't. Like, sometimes you force through and you're like, you work through it and you practice and you're like, I did that. I was able to be a new version. You can feel yourself like, like I could feel the dagger when it's like, I hate Valentine's Day. And usually I didn't mind, but I was like, well, suddenly I realized, wait a minute, I wanted to celebrate this new version of us, this new chapter, and you hate it, and I don't want you to force you to hate it, and I just want you to like it, and I want you to show up. I'm not really sure how I want you to show up, but I want you to show up that way and get it right so that I don't feel sad. No, I have to do the work. I need to figure out what it is I want, and I don't care. I'm not a stickler for the day. I've celebrated Thanksgiving before. I've celebrated birthdays the day before. Listen, it doesn't matter the day. What matters is the point, is the celebration of our newfound love, or like, or whatever you want to call we're in. That's what I want to celebrate. But I also don't need to wait once a year to celebrate it because a Hallmark told me to. I can celebrate that every week and every month, and perhaps that's even better. I met this young couple who is Chris's next door neighbor. They're moving out. And I just said, and they were like, oh, that good thing. And I said, well, funny story, or Chris started it. And I kind of want to say, here's the quick version. So we were married for 25 years, grew apart, moved out, realized, hey, and they were like, well, good for you guys. And I said, here, if you ever have kids, if you ever have anything, again, people had told us this and we never really listened. It was just like, never start dating, like never stop communicating independent of your family, right? Every conversation doesn't need to be about the kids. Every conversation doesn't need to be about business. Like, find out who you guys are and find out, most importantly, who you are. And because who you are right now is so different than who you're going to be 25 years from now. And really honor who you are in each stage of the way. And so for me, what I think feels right is to have a conversation and say, hey, let's make a plan. Let's do something to celebrate us. Who cares when? And know that I don't have the pressure. You go to work that day, do your work. You want to go to a concert that night? Go to a concert that night. And I'm going to go dance and be with myself that I love and this gym community that I adore and really celebrate that. And I'm excited for that. And, my 2 older kids, they're going to be off with their significant others. My youngest one's going to have a significant other here. And my other kid's just going to be here because, I always joke around. I'm like, he's not allowed to have a girlfriend because, he's my bestie. And I don't want to lose my bestie over here. But I know I in the end of the day, I'll never lose my bestie. But yeah, so, he could have a girlfriend. He just isn't, like, I don't want the distractions right now. So anyways, I say all that to say, I love you. I really do. Like, I love you. It's a cherry on top. It's a bonus. And I really hope that you are working on doing those self-care, that like self-forgiveness, all those things to understand the most important love you'll ever experience is the one with yourself. You deserve your love more than anybody else in this world. And the more you love yourself, the more love is available to love others. So embrace yourself. I love you. Go out there today. Go look in the mirror. Tell yourself something you love about yourself. Give yourself that big smile, but then go out in the world and share that big smile. Share your compliments. Share your love with someone else. And it comes back to you tenfold. Like, the more love you give, the more you're open to receive and the greater the love feels. I never would have really understood where I was the secret in a relationship. I knew for myself individually, for my workouts and things like that, and how I showed up was, going to be a reflection here. But I really didn't know. And especially with somebody like Chris, I didn't think that the more I loved him, the more love I would receive. I thought I would be in a deficit. I thought the more love I gave him, the more he would take and the less I would receive and have to survive. And it's been the absolute opposite. So I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm so grateful for you. Go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye.